Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
it's weird. I got this. Somebody sent me a message on LinkedIn and called me dear.
I used to do that. Being a Texan is part of how we talk.
Well, this person's from India, so maybe they do that.
Cute.
I don't know.
That's cute. I've accidentally called executives dear before, and I'm like, my bad. I apologize.
It's hard. Culture's hard to break, right?
Right, it is.
I think like my favorite Southern like saying is like "bless your heart."
Bless your
But
heart.
that's how we throw shade, though.
I know it's my favorite when you're just like, "Ah, bless her heart."
Like, I feel like
It's so nice. It's the nicest thing you could say to anyone. Be like, "Ah, bless her heart."
and it's like usually preceded by something like really shady said about a person. I find with the younger generation, they say more just bless. Well, oh, bless. I'll say that more. That's what I hear more often. And that's also when you're kind of throwing some shade.
On a completely different topic, Jackie, I loved that TED talk from that woman who was creating those robots. I watched it like 3 times. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, she's
fabulous. Awesome. Totally. I'm in love. I liked the one that woke her up in the morning. It's like, I need that over my bed, something to slap me awake. So there's a CDF channel that we're posting stuff, that women do. And Jackie posted a TED talk for a girl who does robotics and and she's really funny.
Awesome.
I was laughing so hard. So geeky. Far more geeky than any guy could ever do. It was awesome. It would be something that our own Melissa Sussman, I'm sure, could pull off.
All right, I'm going to give folks a few more minutes, but on today's agenda, what I actually wanted to discuss today was the CDCOM prospectus, event summary, and then sponsorship add-ons and the CFP for next year. And then I'll also chat a little bit about the annual report. So I'll give it to like 11:05 to see if we've got some folks.
Hey y'all.
Hello. Hey Perlin, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you, Jacqueline, Tracy, everyone?
Hey, hello.
Good. Happy holidays this week.
Yeah, short week.
Yes, short week. Hey Nakima. Perlin, where do you sit again? Are you in California?
Yeah, I'm in California, Menlo Park, Sunnyvale area.
Is that where you grew up? Because we were talking about like living in the South and like just stuff we say. And so when you were like, hey y'all, we were like, I was like, I wonder if she's also from the South.
No, this must sound like really, how do I say it? Like woke of me, but I normally say hey guys a lot. And
me too.
Yeah,
I do too.
say it a lot and I love saying it, but I have this list of like other things I can say, and like y'all is my next big one. I go like, hey party peeps, hey sunshines, and hey homo sapiens and other things like that. So hey y'all just came to mind when I came on, but yeah, I'm trying to get out of that.
It's a good practice.
This is not some cute trait I got from the South. I really wish it was, but intentions are genuine.
No, we get it. We were just talking about, well, I was talking about my favorite one is to say, bless her heart or bless their heart.
Oh,
when you're throwing shade at people.
Yeah.
oh, love it.
All right, 11:05. Let me share my screen really quick and we will get started. Okay, so what screen are you guys seeing? You're seeing the outreach agenda, right?
Yeah, we're seeing the agenda. Yep.
Okay, cool. So just reminder, sign in if you didn't sign in. I tried to capture it, everyone. And so today, I know I'm super delinquent, and I'm sure Emily and Rachel are probably like, come on, you owe us this. But I wanted to discuss the prospectus, the event summary, and the sponsorship add-ons, and the CFP for CDCon 2021. Our goal is to have our webpage, like excuse me, let me back up. The event landing page, the CFP landing page, and the prospectus ready to go by early January, so that we could just like hit the ground running. But one of the things that we need to update, I think that the event summary was great for CDCon 2020. I think it's missing a few things, and this is where I'd love to get everyone's feedback on this. I met with Tracy Miranda yesterday, and we identified a few things that we think are missing from the description. Like some of the feedback I gave, it was kind of hard to identify and make it obvious like why people should attend. And like, if we're trying to convey that they're coming to this event to grow skills, to learn about the latest practices, like CD trends, technical know-how, that's not necessarily conveyed in our short or in our long event summary. So this is something too that we're coming to our members to discuss this, because we want to make sure that this aligns with something that they want to see, and then B, also for like the prospectus, folks are willing to pay for sponsorships and get the benefits that they want, because that's something that we're curious about as well, is like, what's the driving force of folks wanting to sponsor CDCon for next year? Is it leads? Is it brand awareness for their company? So we want to make sure that we are collecting all of this to be able to update the CFP and the prospectus and the event summary, so that it's also catering to our members. So yeah, this is, let me zoom in a little bit more. This is right now our current event summary in short. I can take notes as people provide feedback, or we could also, on your own time, you can also come in and add your feedback. But I think I'd love to open the discussion to the event summary, and everything's linked in the agenda. If you don't have access, let me know. But yeah, let's dive into it. So any initial feedback from the short?
Well, I'll get us started. I think, first of all, I think you guys did I think we did a pretty good job. I'm patting ourselves on the back still for pulling CDCon off this year. It was awesome. And part of, I think that it's accurate what you just said, but I think part of it is we are still struggling with personas, and I keep going back to that. And I know I'm nagging the board, and I've been nagging at Tracy. And our outreach in general, we should be, if we have identified the personas more accurately, I think we could cater then the message better.
Yeah, and that's also good feedback that like we provided Tracy Miranda as well. So like we need to make it more obvious on who should attend.
Exactly.
So this is our shortlist practitioners. So that would be more like the developers, decision makers. That's your leadership, your CIO suite, and then open source contributors.
I get that. I'm just prefacing the direction I'm going. But in terms of a high-reaching kind of message, I think we should be, because I keep pushing everybody to establish the CD Foundation as the place to go for information about continuous delivery practices and future. I was on the TOC this morning, and I was encouraging them to potentially bring in there's a SIG for events, and event-driven and templated workflows is kind of the what I see as like the version 2.0 of the CD pipeline. So I feel like we should continue in terms of a high-reaching message and a brand. We should it should be around, you know, what's new, the trends, what's happening, and what's new and exciting in the world of continuous delivery and DevOps. So I think that is a better place for us than alternatives like the DevOps Institute. Their skill up days are very specific to how do you improve your skills, how do you find new jobs. But I think for our market and for our members, I think being seen as the place to go for thought leadership on CD is what we should be doing. And I think we have to cater it then to the personas like you have defined here, but a high-reaching one I feel like should be we should be seen as thought leaders, and it should be a thought leadership conference.
Okay, and I guess how does that actually look like in execution? And how does that then how do we convey that in this summary?
I'm happy to give it a shot. I've got it open. Unless, I mean, I was hoping that I would inspire somebody to have other thoughts about this. Because I think it's a discussion.
I agree with you, Tracy. The first thing, sorry, this is my first time seeing it, by the way. I haven't been on the meetings in a while, so apologies if
No, it's okay. This is last year's one from CD 2020, CDCon 2020. So yeah, no worries. No one else has really seen this really either.
Yeah, so one of the things, and we're putting together our user conference as well, was how do we, you know, get rid of our logo, read the event, and still make it known that it's a JFrog event or a CDCon, for example. So some of the activities we tried to mention in our summary, for example, we offer training, so that's something we provide. We also share, like I agree with the third kind of bullet over there, making it more obvious who should attend once you have those personas put together, and calling them out directly in the short summary. But the common thing I'm seeing in event summaries nowadays is it being every other conference could look that way. So I agree with Tracy, and if I have other feedback, I'll definitely add that to the doc as well. But just as an overall first impression.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And I think that is a really good point. How do everybody goes to conferences to really learn about trends. How do we make ourselves unique? How do we brand the CDCon to give it a special twist? I don't know how. That's not like every other conference.
Right.
Okay, so then take a look at the long version, and then also anything else that could be missing. I think here we do a better job of calling out some of those like roles that each of these personas would have. But yeah, take a look at it, and if there's any other feedback on what else we should be making sure that the summary conveys. Please add that feedback here, add some comments. All right, let me just summarize the notes, and then we can move on if no one else has any more feedback on this.
What are your thoughts, Jackie?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it was, you know, what we already captured here. These were the three things that I thought were missing from the event summary. Like, why should someone attend? I thought that it was missing like our projects. Like we never mentioned any of our projects. And I think that's something that we're trying, you know, we have tracks specific for each of the open source projects, but that isn't conveyed in this. And then also just like, we need to make it more obvious who this conference is for, which is, yeah, so that's something that, you know, I'm going to take back the feedback and then work with Tracy, Miranda on rewriting this. And so that's why we wanted to highlight it to everyone.
I think it's an interesting that you point that out, that, you know, mention our projects, because I think I sort of saw that too. if we do push, if we create CDCon to be the annual sort of projects, convention, this big thought mind share for the projects, that will definitely bring a very specific type of person to attendance. And I almost feel like we have to make a decision on how we want to present it. So if we do it too high level, we lose the practitioners, we lose the the people who are really in the weeds. And I almost feel like that's who we primarily want to cater to. But I could be wrong.
I agree with that. I think emphasizing the projects will definitely bring in the practitioners, and that can be kind of the lead in to the higher level message you want to send. Like the projects are just I guess a taste of our overall opinion and leads them into the direction we want them to go.
But couldn't you have like one day for projects, or like split it into two? One day is for practitioners and one day is for more like thought leadership?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that I can like Emily in the event add-ons. Oops, I don't have that. Has a in the event add-ons. That's something that we're thinking about making like a contributor day. So day 0 would be contributor day for whoever wants to sponsor that contributor day for each of the projects. But then we would still have each of the tracks like we did in CDCon 2020, where it's very focused on like Jenkins or Spinnaker. And then we would have the generic overall CD, and then everything else would fall under that. But we were also thinking like, how do we serve our leaders, right? Our leaders need a specific track. So that's some of the conversations we're starting to have as we build out this program, because we think, that's why we wanted to bring it to the outreach committee, that these are the 3 personas we want to target. And so how does that translate into the program?
And the brand of it. I mean, we can build out tracks like you were saying based on those personas, but how do we make ourselves unique? What is it that is going to cause people to say this is the one show I really want to go to because it covers, because of this reason. KubeCon, everybody wants to go because it is the place to go for cloud native technology. They've got that down. I think DevOps World, CloudBeast has done a fabulous job of really wrapping their arms around the DevOps conversation, and they did an amazing shift from it being a Jenkins conference to a broader DevOps World conference.
Yeah.
So what is our thing going to be to make people want to come to the CDCon?
So 2 questions. Both of those examples started with a specific technology base and then expanded from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second question is, crap, it's getting close to holidays because it just left the tip of my tongue as I was about to speak it. How long do you want this to continue to be a 2-day thing?
Yeah, so I think we're looking at 2 days, possibly 3.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could be the primary conference for end users to meet contributors, or
That's what I was going to ask.
a place for end users and contributors to sit down at the same table and have a discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know how to formulate that now, but what image, what brand do we want to portray? What is our bigger message?
Are there any models of events right now that you would want to pattern after? I mean, you mentioned KubeCon and DevOps World, but those are relatively mature events. Like, what exists today that you would want to?
Well, I think so. I think that if we look at what the DevOps Institute has done around their Skill Up conferences, they've done a really good job of that's the place to go if you want to learn a new skill. And it's even in the name, Skill Up. So it's a very focused kind of a conference.
Okay.
I'm not saying that that's what we should copy. I'm just using that as an example that they said, hey, this is where you go for learning more information. This is where you go to find out where certifications are. You know, that, and even when you do talks for them, they ask you to add kind of that material into your talk. So it's all about getting skilled up. It's all about the people of DevOps, the culture of DevOps, and the education around DevOps. And they've done a really good job of tightening their brand right around just around that. And I think that's why they're having, you know, in a very, very busy world right now, I think they're having good success of getting folks to come. Now, for members, though, that's not, you don't necessarily want people who to come to your booth who are just looking for work.
Right.
You know, so that's not a good place for us to be. So for our members and for our end users, what will entice them? What is that brand?
Yeah.
I think that's what we have to solve. I think that's the question to answer. I think that the team has done I think in terms of the tracks, I think that we kind of knew our personas, and I think that we did a pretty good job of defining them. I think we can do a better job of the projects, as pointed out. But you know, what is CDCon all about? If somebody said, "What's CDCon?" How would you describe it? A mind share between project contributors and end users. Trends in continuous delivery. The
Both of
speed of
those.
software development, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that members don't care about lead generation for an event like this. They care about, you know, things like mind share, direction, you know, shaping the direction of technology. And they're there in contact with the practitioners and developers themselves. So I think that's a natural link up. We just have to cement that in the in our description.
Yeah, I would say this past CDCon, lead generation was a key because we didn't have the other kind of way to co-brand. So in other words, if the members are at that show, they're getting the benefit of being recognized as somebody who cares about the direction of the CD pipeline, right? This past year, it was pretty much let's get as many people as we can and give our members
Yeah.
the leads, because we didn't have that secondary brand for it.
Yeah, I would think the thing that you have that would be unique would be the project leads and the practitioners, and then you put them in the same room, you know, virtual room, of course, but you put them together with the members, and that seems to facilitate the conversations that, you know, could only be had at your event.
I think so too. And I think that kind of helps emphasize the projects, and it also elevates the end users. It puts end users as part of you know, who we want to have a conversation with.
Yeah.
So maybe we have to brand around somehow, you know, it's some kind of a mind share between contributors and end users. Because that's, I mean, you know, from a attendee perspective, I would want to do that and be able to go meet some of the top contributors of some of these projects.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I want to hire them.
Sometimes you want to hire them, yeah.
Right.
Sometimes you may be just trying to implement the product and you want to have some enhancements, and it's
Yep.
kind of a mini way of going to a you know, you go to DevOps world, you know, you're going to talk to folks from the electric cloud team and get your answers resolved.
I remember what OpenStack used to do is they had like their contributor event first, and they had more of a broader user event, you know, after that. Not saying we should copy them again, but there was some value in that model.
Okay. Anything else? I think we'll continue this conversation. We'll probably take a stab at rewriting this, and then based on this feedback, and then work on it with the planning committee in December and to finalize this for the website. So the next topic, is there anything else folks want to add to this?
Why don't you just put a bullet point on that under hiring to make it clear, to say something like putting contributors and end users in the same room.
Yeah.
So a place to facilitate the conversation between members, contributors, and end users doesn't cover it?
I'm sorry, it probably does. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, I'd say that covers it.
Okay. All right, let me move on really quick to the next thing about CDCon that I wanted to chat through and run through everyone. One sec. Okay, where's that? Okay, let's take a look at the prospectus. And I know there was also an add-on document. That was really good. Okay, so I think this is also where we really want folks' feedback on the benefits of the sponsorship prospectus. This is last year's one, so we're using this as a work in progress draft where we make all the comments. So also, if you have ideas of how we should update these tiers, if there's additional benefits that you like to see as a sponsor, please go in and add some comments there. One of the things that Emily did for us, she put together a document of add-ons as well for that other like LF projects have used. So here are some options. I think we didn't think this one was very relative to us. So a 50-minute Linux Foundation live webinar, but also we're open to feedback if that's something that as members and as sponsors you think you could benefit from. We thought of a video sponsor. That's something that we didn't have for CDCon 2020. Basically, this would cover all of the video production, and there be a whoever's the sponsor, there'd be a logo sponsor and all of like the YouTube post-production videos. A diversity and inclusion. We didn't have that last time. A swag sponsor. The selfie booth, and then this is more for the interactive engagement type of activities. The CNCF did a drag queen bingo / happy hour. And then there's also, this is something we talked about, what we didn't get to do in CDCon 2020, but we want to add a community award sponsor as well to that. Or awards to the program event. The other one is co-located events, also cross promotion of community events as well. There's also the sponsor theater demo or tutorial, a sponsored birds of a feather, and then the session recordings, a virtual job board, and then a well-being activity. So like hire a yoga teacher to do a few videos for us of like stretching or whatever. So this is also too where we'd love some feedback on types of benefits that folks really like, or what they're specifically looking to get out of their sponsorship.
Did you have co-located events?
We did not.
Okay.
No, this would be a new thing.
All right.
That looks good to me. I like the yoga thing.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun one. Like, you basically play a few videos during breaks, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because you're sitting all day in front of your computer. Yeah.
So co-located event sounds pretty, high touch and involved.
Yeah, so that what we were thinking about it, so this is how what it would look like. Looks like up to 3 hours. This is the two packages that we would offer, package A and package B. all of the benefits that go that are part of each of the packages, how much it would cost to be a sponsor of this.
Okay.
So yeah, so any feedback is welcome. Let us know what you think of these ideas. Should we add them onto the prospectus? All of them, none of them, you know, happy to discuss. Let's switch over.
Okay.
to
Yeah, I
this.
The reason I was asking is because if you look at something like OzCon, where you basically there are sponsored workshops, and I think you get like a half day of content is like something in the order of, I don't know, it used to be like 10 or 15K.
Mhm.
So just thinking about price comparisons, but looks like what you're proposing is I guess a lot more.
Yeah, it is a lot more. One of the things we're thinking about and we're playing with this idea is, for example, like having summits, like having each of the projects have a day zero summit.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then see if like any of our members would want to sponsor that. And those would be optional, right? And I think it would take more of a form of a little bit more of a contributor summit, where we get the communities together on that day zero event, and then we still have content from each of the tracks. And then we have the generic CD track, but I think this would be more for an opportunity for the community to just come together and
Yeah, and I
so it'd
definitely
be more of a community event led event. Community led event.
know what you meant. That sounds, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, generally speaking, when it comes to like sponsorships, I'm always looking for ways to get content into the program. That's always, I don't know how that translates to other of your sponsors this past year.
So let's take a look at the event sponsorship from last year. So, you know, like if you were a diamond sponsor, you would have gotten a 15-minute keynote. So there's one opportunity to insert some content. And then let me see. I think there were other ones. The Birds of a Feather session. You know, a 15 demo video for YouTube, 20-second video ad before and after the virtual event. So there's opportunities there. So that's why we're also looking into these add-ons, because I know sometimes, for example, one tier might not have enough opportunities to add content. Let me look, where's that add-on page? So
Okay.
that's why we're like, if you want a tutorial or a demo, there's that theater. If you want to sponsor an additional Birds of a Feather, that's why we're trying to play around with these add-ons.
No, that's good.
Wow.
That makes sense. Do you know like how well received like content additions were?
What do you mean?
Well, as far as like after this past time, were sponsors enthusiastic about taking those opportunities? Like, I mean, that's probably a subjective appraisal, but
I think it depended on the sponsor, to be quite honest, because I know there were some sponsors that just had like some of the more higher tiers, and then it could have also just been timing wise, right? Where that we just maybe sold a sponsorship a little too late and they weren't able to meet certain deadlines. I'd have to actually ask. I know Jennifer Tucker was our person who was helping manage all of that, so I can touch base with her and see what also deterred folks from taking advantage of all of their sponsor benefits.
okay.
But yeah, like I think from from a sponsor, is there any other benefits that you have seen that you liked or that you think are missing from the prospectus from last year? Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, just thinking. I know when I sold sponsorships before, there was always such a wide, disparate set of things that each sponsor wanted. It was difficult to like, get a common story. Like some people just wanted their brand affiliation, and some people actually cared about the it was trying to come up with a prospectus that covers the bases is really difficult.
Okay, I think we've got a few more minutes till the top of the hour, and then let me just switch over as well to the CFP. Where did that go? Okay. So this is what we're this is kind of like the questions. So I won't go in a ton of detail into this, but this is the application process for folks who want to submit a talk. But, also please provide feedback on this. I think this is also important that if we need to tweak it, that we make those tweaks before. But yeah, I think making the application process as easy as possible is something too that we want to make sure we do for our attendees, because that's sometimes we notice that's where people drop off. So yeah, take a look at that. Okay. Any more feedback on those things for CDCon 2020? And like I said, links are there. So if you're feeling shy today, you can always go on your own time and provide some feedback there. Okay. All right. So the other thing too that I just wanted to share with folks is we're starting to prep for the annual report. So this document, the CDF annual report workback calendar, this has all the dates and milestones and deadlines that we're trying to meet so that we can publish this annual report. It's going to live on the CD Foundation website, just like the one last year. And it basically covers everything that we've achieved in 2020. So each of the green headers is a section where I'll need help is, for example, we need a summary of the outreach committee and its charter. So that's one thing. And then also if you are a contributor of a SIG or a, the best practices working group or the end user community, we also want to make sure that there's a summary included there from that. So John Mark, I'll just pick on you. We have an end user community section. So I'll be pinging you and bugging you about if I'm missing anything or if it needs to get updated or if there's other information that you want to include. So yeah, this is a breakdown of who owns it, when is the deadline, and then when's also like a review, because we'll take a look at the final draft and review it before we send it to creative services for final. So yeah, that's take a look at that as well. Let me know if you think there's sections missing. Yeah, I've also included the link into that. In the agenda, as well as the working deck. As you can see, the table of contents is basically just a representation of each of the milestones here. So yeah, we've started working on it and we're collecting all the data points in here. And we're looking for a publish date of the week of January 22nd, I believe. I think that's the Friday. So yeah, let us know. And I think that is it for today.
In terms of the content bullets that you're going to bug me for, when do you need them by?
Yeah, let me see. When did I think it's not till December. It's like December 18th is the deadline for, yep, December 18th. Yeah, so
Thanks.
we've got some time. Okay. That's it for me. Anything else from folks? Okay. Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for coming, and I will work with Tracy on updating all that stuff for CDCon.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jack.
Bye.